Hey kid, let me ask for your honest opinion. Which one do you like better, the left or the right?
Right.
Right? Yeah, cool. Why? Why do you like the right?
Because it's more detailed and look at the light. Hold on, no, I like this one.
Oh yeah, that's the right. Can't you tell left from right?
Oh. I was talking. It's because it's more detailed and the left one
Which one do you think is the official one?
The right one.
Okay. Go watch your cartoon now. Okay.
Bye, sisters.
Alright guys, that was my son. So it's the night after New Year's and we both can't sleep, so we decided to shoot a video for kicks. This would be an interesting video because despite the fact that the Clone Commando boss just dropped in my city, I'm not doing the usual review format and instead also focus on the kit from John Walker Customs. In fact, spoiler alert, I will spend more time gushing over John Walker's kit instead of the official release. So when I do my customs, I try to pick strategically. I try to avoid doing clones that will be released officially from Hasbro in the future. This is the reason why I've not done a custom of ARC Trooper 5s. He's so popular that an official release is pretty much a sure bet. I don't mind having customs and then later Hasbro releases it because that way everybody have access to it. But in my case, my resources and time is limited, so I'm very selective about what I produced. However, in the case of Clone Commando Boss, I have no such hesitation to do his custom because from the prototype image of the official release, it is apparent that it will be an inaccurate portrayal of the Clone Commando. And knowing Hasbro, we will most likely not get a correct proportion version anytime soon. There's really no incentive to do a whole new tooling after releasing this version. And if the entire Delta Squad is ever released, it will probably be based on the same body for the sake of cost savings and consistency. So, looking at the box. Okay, I'm not going to spend much time on the box. This is the box. You guys all know what the box looks like. There's plenty of images floating around the internet. So, anyways. Now, let's move quickly to the figure. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I am thoroughly disappointed on this figure. I don't mind quick cash grabs and repaints, but this one is on a completely different level.
It's ugly.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly.
Yeah, it's really ugly.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
Accessories, it only comes with a blaster.
Ugly as hell.
And a backpack. Kit! HL double hockey stick. Watch it. I'm okay with simple figures, but I'm sure many of you will be like, what? As for the body, many of you already know this one is based on Hunter from the Bad Batch release. I could understand why people are saying Hunter's armor is based off of a Clone Commando, but looking closer, you see many differences. First off, body proportion. Clone Commando is supposed to be bulky with heavy armor. This figure is on par with the regular clones. Look at that proportion. What's worst?
It's disgusting.
It's top heavy with slim waist. It just looks cartoony. The shoulder pad sticks out like wings to exacerbate this proportion. And what's worse, not only did they not have what Boss should have on the right shoulder over here with the heavier pads, the default armor looks completely whittled down and it just looks wimpy. The abdominal section is missing a lot of these beautiful detail of what a Clone Commando should have. The knee pads are connected from the top to bottom, whereas the Clone Commando usually is portrayed with the knee pads connected to the bottom armor. This is the way they have always been portrayed in at least the Battlefront 2 video games. The hand is basically the same as a regular clone armor, whereas the Commando hands are different, and Boss is missing the hand armor with a retractable blade. How could they have omitted that? I haven't played Republic Commando since it first came out in 2005, but I still remember running around stabbing everyone with a retractable blade. Where is it? And where's the elbow pads? And the weathering? What kind of lazy weathering is that? Like, look at that, there's a patch here and like a dirt patch here, and everything is white. They haven't really done anything. And this thing just kind of just jagged line over here. I know we try to suggest this paint rubbing off over here, but seriously, the way it looks more like George from the Jungle, like with a drape over his shoulder. So essentially, this is a cash grab to the max when they try to repaint a Whippet and sell it to me as a Rottweiler. I'm not going to even spend time on the articulation. It's essentially the same as Hunter. So this figure is, to put it bluntly, an absolute failure. I'm usually pretty forgiving and not very negative, but come on Hasbro, you could do better than that. So let's move on to what I really want to talk about. John Walker's custom clone Commando kit. This is a message to Drew, the owner of John Walker. You are an absolute hero. You have helped the customizing community to no end and open up a possibility for everyone. Since he started shipping to my country, it has reawakened my interest in customizing. And in this case, he has given us the opportunity to have a clone Commando we all deserve. What's more, Drew is very reliable. He ships his stuff out in time, as opposed to some eBay vendors I've dealt with before. He's incredibly responsive. I have sent him a question during the Christmas holidays, and the guy replied back very quickly. I'm so sorry for bothering you during your time with your family. And also, shout out to Skylu 3D for his designs. If I'm not mistaken, many of the kits floating around out there in the market originate from his 3D designs. As for the figure, this kit is based off of the bootleg body, as recommended by John Walker. Working with bootleg clones now, I actually find it a lot easier to work with because the parts can be disassembled very easily with boiling water, very easily. Looking at this kit, it doesn't shy on the details. Everything is sharp, as shown on the helmet. I went ahead and panel lined it, and it really helped to bring the kit to another level. And the weight of this finished product, it's really cool. Like, you really feel the weight of this heavy armor. And despite this, it actually stands and balances pretty well. As for the process, unfortunately, I did not document it for this video, but I'll try my best to describe what you get with this kit. What I love about the kit from John Walker is the fact that they have revised the kit to make it even easier to assemble. So Drew had posted a video on John Walker YouTube channel about a year ago, but since then they have made some further improvements. For a more updated idea about the process, go to his Instagram page and check out the story section. There's still a lot of hacking and chopping to make the pieces fit, but one major improvement is the flexible pieces for the parts, like the chest armor, thigh and shin armor, and the bicep armor. These pieces will become very flexible when exposed to heat, and will always go back to shape when returned to normal temperature, and are relatively solid when they do. The way this works is previously the limbs requires a lot of chopping to have the pieces fit into the resin armor. In some cases, you have to chop the limbs in half. But with this improvement, you just heat up the flexible armor piece, and with some minimal chopping, you just slip it into the piece. In fact, the instructions on John Walker Instagram still says to chop some limbs in half, but from my experience, I find you only required to do it in the forearms. And also, what I found out is that it does mention Dremel a couple of times, but a lot of these things could actually be done by a hobby knife, as long as you're careful not to chop your finger off and stuff. But I think the only necessary part that you really need a Dremel is the head sculpt. And overall, there's no really nasty surprises in this process because the plastics actually glues very well with regular crazy glue. You won't run into situations where the two plastics are not compatible and they refuse to glue together. The only downside to this kit, if I were to pick one, is that it would require major attention to every step. It is not a hard kit to pull off, but there are many steps if you want to do this well, and many more steps if you want to weather this thing and separate matte from glossy finish. You have to be alert for every step for some mistakes too. Go slow. For example, I mess up the right arm when trying to glue the forearm armor over here. And it's not until later that I realized that I've accidentally let the glue seep into this elbow joint. And as a result, the lower joint doesn't bend, only the top joint bends. But overall, the results are great. And the kit is well worth it. I consider myself an intermediate builder, and I was able to put it together in about 2 days. Worst comes to worst, if you aren't comfortable with the process, you can commission John Walker to make you a ready-made figure if you want a good clone Commando. So, this pretty much wrapped up my video. Full disclosure, I'm not paid by John Walker in any way, shape, or form. I just want to pay tribute to people who contribute to this community of customizers and really want to continue supporting him. In the comments, I'll be happy to hear what your experiences are with putting together a clone Commando kit, and also let the community know any other good vendors out there that could help pay tribute to. So until then, thank you so much for tuning in this video. My son and I had a great time putting this thing together, and have a happy New Year's and peace out.